And I'm so excited to have the competition on. I was eating during the break a little bit down the wrong tube because I'm not in competition with anybody who wants freedom. I'm in competition with tyranny. And it's great to have Gavin, founder of Vice, and so much more here with us. Gavin, out of the gates, what do you say about Vegas? What's your gut tell you?
I'm not a conspiracy guy. I tend to be pretty cynical about these things, but something reeks here. Remember that church that got shot up, that mosque, in Quebec?
Yes.
It was a guy, there was two people there, then there was one person there. It was pretty clear that the government was trying to hide. But even in that case, we knew within seconds that this guy had once clicked a like on a Facebook article about Le Pen. And that was just a click many years before. So we're usually remarkably thorough. And this time we got nothing. No Facebook, no tweets, no family relations. I mean, how do we know so little? It doesn't make sense.
Absolutely. In fact, that's why I love getting you on. That's the one point I hadn't made. But I was thinking about that just the other day, how crazy this is, folks. We always, when it's a right-winger or a libertarian, we hear their entire Facebook history, their Twitter history. They've always visited Infowars.com because the site's, 50 times bigger than MSNBC.com. Of course, people are visiting it literally. But still, they always demonize Matt Drudge, myself. You would have heard this, but now they're sitting on it. And Gavin, I can tell you why. I got a call, and it was confirmed later by text from the hostage rescue team that was there. And they said, indeed, it was full of Antifa and Islamic paraphernalia.
Wow. Yeah, that the police feel like, and when I say the police, I mean the top brass, obviously not the guys on the street, but the top brass and the government, they're better than us, they're smarter than us. We can't control ourselves. So what they'll do is they'll parse out information based on what we can handle, because we can't handle the truth. Jack Nicholson was right. So they're just going to dole it out in little pieces to make sure we don't get too angry. And we saw this in Paris, if you recall, at the Bataclan. They said, oh, there was a shooting and we got the guys and it was very terrible. It was a freak accident, blah, blah, blah. And you go, then you find out a year later that they were eviscerating pregnant women, taking the babies out, the dying babies. They were cutting off men's genitalia and putting it in their mouths. But the mayor hid that information from us because it's too intense and it might lead to a backlash against Muslims, so they just doled out little pieces.
But if he would have been a conservative doing that, of course a conservative wouldn't do that, you would see video of the testicles. I mean, you would have seen the whole thing.
This has to be that they figure we can't handle the truth. And it's funny how when it's someone who's right-wing, we hear about it all, even when they're not necessarily right-wing. If some lunatic on pharmaceuticals is in one picture holding a Confederate flag, then we have evidence of Nazis and white power, and they're happy to unleash that. Let's get that out. Let's get people killed. Let's get Nazis punched and make every conservative a Nazi and get all their lives in danger. That's fine. But if it's a liberal, no, I don't want to condone the NRA's narrative, so I'm not doing it.
Gavin, what do you make of Jimmy Kimmel and all of them out of the gates, the talking point from Chucky Schumer, that we are all guilty collectively, that we all did it, that we're bad, that we're involved in a dirty business? To quote Kimmel last night, he said gun owners are involved in this dirty business. This is next level leftist guilt tripping, just crazy, desperate attempt. Well, this guy has been in all these videos improperly handling guns, threatening to shoot me with a gun on TV once, saying he's coming to kill me, all the rest of it. Now he's pointing at me, even though he has a bunch of bodyguards with guns on video, but he's saying none of us can have guns and that we all are in a dirty business, but he owns guns, so I guess he's saying that he is guilty.
It's amateur hour. We saw this with the NFL, taking a knee. You and I have been doing this for decades. When someone says they want to take a knee to police brutality, you say, oh, okay, so how many deaths are on just a year? What happened? Well, are you talking about Tamir Rice? Are you talking about Mike Brown? Are you talking about Trayvon Martin? Which case are you talking about? Let's get into it. And you realize, oh, no, I don't actually know what I'm talking about. I just like virtue signaling. And Jimmy Kimmel, Crybaby Kimmel, I know him, by the way. He's not a political guy. He's a sports guy. He loves sports, and he loves comedy. He loves his family. He sees someone die, and he just goes for the go-to rich guy thing, which is, guns are bad. Trump is bad. Everyone's a Nazi. And it's just what amateurs do. It's what babysitters do. It's what little girls do. And when someone isn't well versed in guns or all these things, they They decide they want to play political for a day. They want our jobs for a day. And they're so bad at, hey, Jimmy, what law would have prevented this? Tell me how to prevent these. In his own diatribe, he said this guy had a clean record. He was mentally sound. He gave away that no background check would have stopped this.
And let's expand on that.
It's about the butt. It's about the modification. Let's make it all about that. We've tried that. It doesn't work.
Expanding on that, Gavin, we now have coming out, the sheriff saying, no, he clearly was radicalized. He said he definitely did not do this alone. These are quotes. Definitely, they're investigating him for radicalization, which means they found evidence to follow down that trail, but we're hearing nothing. I think it's absolutely essential that information get out. The media is spinning it that we on the conservative side, of the libertarian side, are just making up things. No. We're going to what we have, the target. Just like Colonel Schaefer, of Army and CIA intelligence, said the motive is the target. And it looks just like a replay of a guy the exact same age going and shooting Congressman Scalise, who wanted to kill the other 14 congressmen as well.
Isn't that a strange word, radicalize? I mean, they're going to say, oh, he slipped up, and he meant it's a radical thing to do. Not in the skateboard surfer way, but it's a radical thing to do, to shoot up people. So that's what I meant. No one ever uses the word radicalized to mean right-winger. No one says Timothy McVeigh had become radicalized. Radicalized is reserved for Islam. So I think the sheriff screwed up there and accidentally let that word slip, which is going to let Islam slip. And by the way, I think we can stop differentiating between radical Islam and the alt-left. Those guys have merged. Linda Sarsour, Razmaya O'Day, they're running the Women's March. Radical Islam, Sharia law, and the far left and communism, they're all one big ball, and they all have decided the enemy of my enemy is my friend, and their enemy is us, is the patriarchy.
And then the hotel is connected to the CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood and building casinos in the Middle East and doing donations to it, telling their employees, give George Soros money, give all the usual suspects money. Southern Poverty Law Center, who got caught running the white supremacist compound in Oklahoma City. I mean, just all the usual suspects. And 5 days he's up there with other people, putting up cameras and 22 guns and thousands of rounds of ammo. I mean, everybody knows you go to a normal hotel, they come in when you're gone and search stuff as a security deal. At these casinos, you're lucky if you don't get a proctology exam.
Well, the devil's in the details, and there's so many tiny details here that don't add up. Who orders 2 Pepsis? Have you ever ordered 2 Pepsis?
By the way, conservatives don't drink Pepsi. Everybody knows that since the last election especially. That's a Democrat drink.
It is really, really suspicious. And I can handle the truth. I wouldn't be remotely surprised if this guy had converted to Islam. I wouldn't be remotely surprised if this guy was a left-winger who thought Trump supported.
By the way, Gavin, ISIS said he did. And even AP on Monday morning goes, usually ISIS is truthful what they take credit for. And they said he converted 2 months before, maybe for money. How did he get millions and millions of dollars a year to gamble when he was a private investor? Let's come right back to Gavin McInnes. He's got Get Off My Lawn, the new great broadcast he's launched. We'll give you that website and more. I'm Alex Jones with Infowars.com. Find more on Gavin on Twitter at Gavin_McInnes. Stay with us. He's on CRTV. Alex Jones here, back live. Gavin McInnes leaves us at the bottom of the hour. I'm going to come back and take your phone calls and play that compilation of videos clearly showing 2 shooters. And I've interviewed the former head of SEAL Team 6. He doesn't like me saying that, but that's what he did, Dev Group. And a bunch of other people currently in special operations, Army, highest levels, most elite units who are assigned to HRT. And I'm even authorized to say that. They weren't in the raid, they were behind it. And the guy shot back at him. He didn't commit suicide. And there was Islamic crud everywhere. And Antifa crap all over. Then I'd ask, well, was he set up? I mean, then I would investigate there. I wouldn't just pin it on him. But the fact that they're covering that up, and as Gavin McInnes said, if it was a conservative, we'd know his whole Facebook history. If he'd visited InfoWars, we'd know it. We always get to hear about it. Even if they were actually leftists that visited our sites. So, Gavin, you're absolutely on target. May I say, I really like your new studio. That's very smart. What are the other big issues? I mean, they're trying to frame us all for this. They're moving forward. They're trying to give us collective guilt. You got the NFL thing. They tried to frame Trump saying that he didn't help Puerto Rico, and we flooded them with mountains of help. And then the mayor and others got caught with the Teamsters blocking the goods. I mean, Democrats have gone to such new nasty heights. I can't even believe it. But Trump's approval ratings, even in their skewed polls, are skyrocketing. What next level of lunacy will they go to try to stop us?
You know, they never cease to amaze me. After Charlottesville, I went, oh, good, I disavowed that. I'm glad I had nothing to do with it. And then they go, yeah, but you met someone who was there. Oh, okay, so now I'm guilty. Or this thing with the shooting in Vegas, you go, okay, finally.
Gavin's Skype just froze up. That's kind of cool while his Skype froze up. It's like I'm living here in the future because my TV's HD and our connection to him on Skype it's gone now, was HD. And it looked like he was in a picture window frozen right there. This HD TV, man, I was at Target a few weeks ago buying something, I forget, like party favors for one of my kids, but I don't go to Target often, but I do go to Target, even though it's a globalist communist combine. And they have these new HD TVs in there. I'm not doing an ad for them, and they were so HD that it was like I was looking out a window in Spain or in Italy, and I was like trying to reach through the televisions. It's just, we are living in science fiction land. That's all I'm saying. And how does the establishment think that there wouldn't be any byproducts of all this new communication? That the people would have a wider voice and the people could have choices of what they wanted to listen to and what they wanted to watch. And then if that did happen, that the public would break with them and know about of authoritarianism would help put that back in the bottle. And we have Catalonia trying to pull out, and then they go beat up everybody, so now they're going to secede for sure. Again, the force-feeding, the desperate establishment, Gavin, what point have we gotten to where the left is getting so insane and it's only driving people away from them faster? It's a new studio for Gavin, so we're working out the bugs right now. Let me see if he can hear me up in New York from here. Gavin, can you hear me over there in New York City?
I read you loud and clear.
Good. We're going to have to hold you over the next segments. I got more questions for you. But now that we've worked out the technical difficulties, can you hear me down here from Texas?
Yes, I can hear you up here in New York City. You sound fine.
Good. What are they going to do as everyone turns on him and his approval ratings skyrocket?
Nothing. They're unflappable. You know what I said earlier, that they've merged with ISIS, they've merged with the extremist jihadists, and now the alt-left and the radical Islam are as one. They're also that way behaviorally. They're that way ideologically. And ISIS, the Islam is insatiable. A woman puts on a burqa, she's still getting lashes because part of her bangs are showing, or you can see her socks. They're never satisfied. Islam. Similarly, the far left will never, ever waver. The more data they get that contradicts their belief, the more steadfast they will become in those beliefs. They see country music fans get murdered because they've been dehumanized, and they go, that's your fault, that's guns. They no matter what happens, it's more evidence that Trump is Hitler. So what do? You do what you do with radical Islam. You cut them loose. You say, I'm not talking to you anymore. You don't have a say. You're not invited to my party. Get off my lawn.
And what does your maxim, get off my lawn, mean? I mean, I get it in general, but it's a term. I mean, does it mean I have my territory, I can have my own culture, you can be what you want, but I'm an individual?
Yes, it means I'm here. If you're here to enrich my life, then by all means, welcome aboard. But if you're here to mess with me, if you're here to sabotage the patriarchy or capitalism or the West, get lost. Get off my lawn. And Walt Kowalski says it in Gran Torino, and I just thought, what a perfect example of how great America used to be, where we used to be proud of our lawns, where dads used to be the boss. Now we've got Homer Simpson with his hand stuck in a toaster going, "Aah!" I want to get back to people revering the patriarch.
I've got to say, I was once for a costume party, I guess around Halloween, the guy from Falling Down. But I think you're channeling, somebody that would work at, say, IBM or Texas Instruments in 1984. That is quite the outfit you're wearing. In fact, before you even kind of went with that, I was trying to get Owen Schroyer, because he can pull it off. I said, I want the most right-wing, outlandish rep ties. I want huge American flag lapels because it triggers them. But I said, think even like a fancy version of the guy from Falling Down, and you've done it.
Well, I just rewatched that movie, actually, and he is an awesome character, but I forgot how badly he treats his ex-wife. He's a real jerk to her. That's not what I'm going for. But outside of that, yeah, I like this guy who's mad as hell and not going to take it anymore. Because it's been decades of me sitting with liberals. I live in New York City. So I sit with them and I go, okay, tell me what goes on.
Well, what do they do when you wear that outfit? Because here's the deal. Everything they do, so uncool, so rejected. I agree. The coolest thing to be now is what you're wearing. In fact, I'm too fat to pull it off, too big, but I think everybody should start dressing just like that, just to let folks know we reject your establishment garbage.
Conservative is the new punk. It's now radical to say, I like traditionalism. I think most women would be happier at home. I think that they should follow the law when it comes to immigration. Now to have your dad's views, which in a tavern 30 years ago were just mundane. I mean, you wouldn't even say that because it's so obvious. Yes, I love America. No, I don't want it ruined with different cultures diluting it. But now when you say something that's just normal, it's considered remarkably radical.
Well, my thing is, America's always been about a bunch of cultures together, but they were coming to get away from oppression and trying to make something better. Now other groups are brought in to be turned against America by the globalists. That's why it's a problem.
You know, Britain is a perfect example of that. That is the canary in the coal mine. And you have, what's his name, Sadiq Khan? I always confuse him with the British editor at Breitbart. But he said immigrants don't have to assimilate. And he also said terrorism is just part of living in a big city. So you combine those two, and you have the opposite of what the West was all about. It was, I don't care who you are, if you're here and you're on board with freedom, let's do this. And it's been working for centuries. And all of a sudden, in the past, I would even say 5 years, we've said, you know what? Let's just burn the whole thing to the ground. And that's what I think happened in Vegas. I think a big part of that attack was this dehumanization. You know, Charles Krauthammer says, they think we're evil, we just think they're wrong. They think that we are like demons, and they want to blast us and kill us.
They want to make them victims, which they are, and then use it to get the guns. But simultaneously, all these liberals are celebrating their deaths. Let's come back and do 5 more minutes. I want to ask you, what happens if they assassinate President Trump? Let's get serious with Gavin McInnes, then your phone calls. Yeah, as he said before, he's been ostracized. He's been kicked out of his entire circle of friends like they're a cult. I mean, you hear about these cults where you don't agree with them, so they say, sorry, I can't talk to you anymore. Well, that's what Democrats are like. And now, areas downtown of Austin, which has been colonized by failures from California. I don't mean all of California is bad. You know, the failures that went to California and failed. They're like moths or locust. They've now come here, and they'll run up and scream and cuss at me and throw things at me. People have seen live feeds where I'm just walking down the street, people are driving by going, F you, F you. Now, for every person that does that, 5 or 6 wave at me, want to shake my hand, of every color, of every creed, of every male, female, gay, straight, you name it. But they're just so intolerant and canceling Berkeley that he was going to speak at. But then Antifa can march the next day. And now Alan Dershowitz is going to sue him because they won't let him speak. And just the evil of these people, and they're ratcheting up the rhetoric, saying we're going to kill Trump, we're going to kill his family, we're going to kill his supporters. And I've had them dump hot coffee on me and scream Nazi while they do it. They want a coming-of-age war. And so what happens if they kill President Trump? They're foiling plots reportedly every few days right now that you really don't hear about. Some of them come out, but I've got Secret Service sources. I mean, it is insane. They're having to spend 3 times what they did on Obama because it's just coming out of the woodwork, and the president's not a coward. He's out there. But what happens, Gavin McInnes, syndicated TV host, what happens on CRTV, doing great stuff, what happens if the president is killed? Because I'm really concerned that the deep state, who says they want an upheaval, they want a revolution to stop the populist peaceful awakening, to derail this political realignment, that it's in the calculus. I mean, they've had former deputy director of the CIA say, we're going to kill the president on CNN. That's a clear threat. They're clearly trying to line that up right now. What happens if they kill 45?
First of all, isn't it amazing how mainstream that question has become? It's on CNN all the time. It comes up on mainstream media all the time like it's a perfectly normal thing. Meanwhile, back in Obama's days, we have one rodeo clown dares to dress up like him. The guy's fired. You never mock the president. Don't you dare make fun of him. Yet we can discuss Trump's murder. It's just accepted. In fact, on November 4th, there's a massive riot planned by Antifa where they want to shut down the entire country, burn it to the ground, and part of that is to either have Trump leave or be killed. And they don't seem to understand that Pence is more Republican and right-wing than Trump is. So you'd have to kill Trump and the vice president. And if you even try to do that, you are going to wake the sleeping giant. America is pretty annoyed with the left, but they're busy people. You know, even those country fans at the Jason Aldean concert, only 60% are political people who consider themselves right-wing. Only 11% are liberal. 30% are just not political. But if you start messing with a democratically elected president, you're going to regret it, is what's going to happen. And America is going to come down on the left hard.
Well, that's what they're trying to package, and just like Hillary thought she was invincible and all these other guys thought they were, but they keep getting their butts handed to them, don't they understand that it's 2 + 2 = 4, that they're playing chess here, that there'll be aftermath? Because so many of their decisions, they just make like they're a 3-year-old sticking their hand in the cookie jar or peeing in the pool. They don't think about what's going to come as a repercussion. That, to me, is most frightening of all.
It's almost like there's a pop star you don't like Katy Perry, and you go, I don't want her around, and then you just ruin her career, and then she'll be gone. Trump isn't just Trump. Trump is an idea, and that idea is, let's be proud of America again. Let's accept the fact that we are the best country in the world. And voters went, yep, I'm all for trying that. I tried We Suck for 8 years. It didn't go well. So if you think you can kill Trump, you also think you can kill that idea, the idea that America kicks ass, and America will kick your ass if you try that.
Well, that's what they've already...
We're the ones that are good with guns, not them.
That's what they've already tried, is saying the NRA is terrorist, and then the next night, gun owners are terrorists, you're in dirty business, you're bad. People are rejecting it, so Kimmel and his speechwriters don't they understand, like, you can press somebody that's asleep, or press somebody you got whipped. What they're doing to us is not whipping us, it's enraging us. No one I know is buying this.
And well, that's why Trump was elected, by the way. It was for 25 years, us dads have been sitting on the couch, and when the polling station calls, we go, I'm busy. And when it's time for the election, we go, it's all fixed anyway, screw it. And then this election came along, and we saw Trump, and for the first time in 25 years, dads put down their beer, they said, hold my beer, and they walked to the polling station. And conversely, women went, I hate Hillary, I'm done with this. And women stayed on the couch. So in a way, we've already awoken the sleeping giant, and these dads have gotten off their ass and voted. And instead of going, whoa, I got dad mad, like at home, when dad's mad, the whole house can feel it. But now the kids are still being brats. They're still nagging and pulling at dad's slacks after he already got up. You're going to get more than sent to your room. You're going to get swatted upside the head.
Look at the NFL thing. First, they come out. The president says you should be respectful. This is rude. They go, no, you're disrespectful to the NRA. Within days, they had to back off. But still, people are leaving them in droves. The NBA had to back off. Again, everything they do, they're losing at. But like you said, they're like undead zombies. They never stop coming. They're just brains, freedom. We want North Korea. No. We don't want the stock market up. No. We don't want a growing economy. No. No. Failure. We want to fail.
It's like that drunk guy at the party who just ruins every conversation, and then he knocks something over, and then he's trying to change the song, and he just goes zzz and scrapes the record. That's what the left is. They go and they ruin video games. They ruin movies. They ruin heavy metal. They're trying to make that politically correct. And you go, well, at least sports is a meritocracy. If you can throw a fastball at 100 miles an hour, you're in. I don't care if you're reptilian. You're in. And they go, no, we're ruining sports. We're making sports about being politically correct. And you just go, is there nothing that you don't want to ruin? Like, they've ruined jokes, they've ruined sex, they've ruined dating. What's left?
And then they love authoritarian Islam and want to ally with that, but then they think men, in the house wearing pants is bad, but throwing acid on women's faces, so much so they're trying to ban precursors to acid and having acid control in London because they're having 7 attacks a day melting women's faces off.
I'm sorry to laugh, but it's just they've chosen the most bizarre bedfellows. They're calling us racist, sexist, homophobes, and embracing jihadists who throw gays off buildings, treat women as second-class citizens, and racism, I mean, that's not even a thing to them. It's such a given that they are superior, more superior than anyone else, that racism is just, that's an obvious one. So, I mean, I think they abolished slavery in Saudi Arabia in like 2010. And you know it's not abolished.
Well, Gavin, we're out of time. Folks can find more on your Twitter, on CRTV, and the great work that all you guys are doing over there. Gavin _McInnes. I'm Alex Jones with Infowars.com. Follow me on Real Alex Jones. But I noticed in closing you got Paul Watson behind you tweeting about Drudge. Sheriff saying that the shooter may have been radicalized. Yes, Media Matters, as you pointed out, run by Soros, says that's fake news. No, the sheriff said that and says there's no way.
Ears.
Yeah. So what do you make of the arrogance of them? I mean, they're the ones putting out fake news.
You know, when you have these apocalypse cults and they say the world's going to end October 13th, 2017, and you go, well, on October 14th, that'll be the end of that cult, right? And then October 14th rolls around and they have more members. And you realize liberalism is a cult. Country music fans can get murdered to the tune of, what is it, 58 now?
Yep.
And it's GOP's fault. It's the Republicans' fault. No matter what happens, if there's a flood, it's Trump's views on global warming. It's Trump's fault. And I'm at the point now where I'm not arguing with these Scientologists anymore. I'm done with this cult.